So this is the interview with Jonathan, the CEO of AJ&Smart. Now he's a very opinionated person and he's also incredibly smart. That combination makes for a great, very interesting, rather fun interview. So enjoy. Here we go. Okay, so I am here. I've been sort of 2 weeks into my internship and this is the Jonathan.
Hello.
The boss.
Do people know what I'm the boss of?
Boss of AJ&Smart.
Just this chair. It's just this chair.
So this is a mixture of my questions and some questions from my subscribers.
Cool. Hello, subscribers.
Anyway, should we just jump in?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Alright, so this is probably the first sort of common one is, can you quickly tell me how AJ&Smart began?
Yeah, AJ&Smart started 6 years ago when myself and an Australian guy who were working in the same company designing apps decided to pitch for a project that was like way too big for us. So we definitely shouldn't have pitched for it, basically. And at the end of the project, it was crazy. It was like insane. We were like working till 5 a.m. every night, myself and my co-founder. At the end of the project, we handed over our 2 freelance contracts, 2 freelance, like, you know, whatever, invoices. And they said, because it was the German government, they said, you told us that you were a company. And we were like, yeah, we are a company. And they're like, yeah, you can't give us 2 freelance invoices if you're a company. And so yeah, we then had to, within a week to get paid, we had to make a company. We called it AJ&Smart because actually originally there was 3 founders, Alex, Jonathan, Michael Smart. And that's really how it started. So there was no plan. Neither of us wanted to start a design agency. He wanted to be a kind of like a pop star. I wanted to be like a filmmaker. And we were both doing design as a way to make money because that's kind of what we studied, but we weren't like super passionate about it. So we started a design agency with very little passion for design. And we slowly but surely got more and more excited about it actually as a thing that's enjoyable.
So what was one of the big draw cards from, because you guys reached out to me, and then once seeing you guys and the work you did, I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are so cool. And what's really interesting is that you are probably still a small design team, but you have massive clients.
Yeah.
How on earth do you go around getting the big clients? Is there some secret sauce, some secret formula to it?
So I'm trying to think. A lot of the big logos that we have on our website, like Lego and Google and all of these companies, a lot of those came through us sort of putting ourselves out there and being super proactive with. Let me give you an example about Lego. So to get Lego as a client, I first got to know Jake Knapp, the guy who created Sprint. And to get to know Jake Knapp, I very specifically went out of my way to get to know him. I flew to San Francisco with this kind of, not stalked, but I mean, I had a kind of vague, idea that there was going to be a meeting, but it wasn't even 100% sure. It actually got rescheduled while I was there, and I was like, shit, I'm actually in San Francisco now. Eventually got to know Jake. We hit it off. We became good friends. We started the podcast. We started doing training together. And because he's just like a lot more famous than me, he knows a lot of these brands. Right. And so it gave me access to companies like Lego.
All right, so now I'm just going to pop into some networking questions.
Networking.
Everyone says you are a good networking guru.
A networking guru?
I don't know, are you?
I made this video with another YouTuber recently where I showed my philosophy behind career. And my philosophy behind career is that, one, you need to understand where you are in your career. So if I imagine I'm here, the people above me are like let's say Johnny Ive from Apple. He's like here, and like other people who are just starting out in their design career are maybe here, right? That's just pure objectively, right? And if I can do that, if I can visualize it, then I know that the people above me, I need to make them look good. I need to help them out. I need to do free work for them. The people below me, I need to help them out because I want them to learn. I want to teach them everything I know. And what happens is these people drag you up and expose you to loads and loads of people you'd never get access to. And these people push you up. Right. And I think that one great example of that was me putting in a lot of effort to kind of help Jake Knapp with the Sprint book, and I'm doing the podcast and doing all of these different things to push his brand. And his network that he's given me access to I would have never gotten there through going to meetups or conferences or all of this crap.
So you say like helping the people above you. So I guess, so like for example, Jake would have been one of those people. So he was wanting to start a podcast, and you're like, oh,
no,
with that, or
you never. So it's important.
How did that happen?
When you have your target, right?
Yeah.
When you're like target acquired. I want to meet Tim Ferriss. I want Tim Ferriss to be like pushing my name and my brand and all of this kind of stuff. Number one, you need to figure out what they need without asking.
Okay.
So the worst thing is that you send them an email and say, hey, I'll do anything for you.
Yeah.
I'll like whatever you want, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for free. That's work for them, right? They have a million people doing that. It's a lot of work for them to figure out what they need. So what I do is I figure out exactly what they need by listening to their podcast, by listening to interviews, by learning about them. So when I met Jake, I said, hey, by the way, I'm running these design sprint training events. Do you want to do one together? I'll organize the entire thing and you'll get like half of the cash of it. And it will probably make this much money. And then he's like, oh, okay. And I don't have to do anything? I'm like, no. And you get the flights and the accommodation. We'll do everything. You just need to turn up and we'll take care of everything. And this is like a really nice proposition. Yeah. Whereas a shitty proposition is, hey, I'd love to like pick your brain and go for a coffee and I'd love to help you out. And then I'm like, that doesn't really, even for me as someone like not even in this stratosphere, I don't want to do that even, right? So you really need to understand what they need and you need to be proactive about doing it. So this was by far the most common question I got asked on YouTube was, what does AJ&Smart look for when hiring a designer? It's a really hard question. I guess, okay, so there are basics. There are things that are like the basic level things which don't get you very far in life in general. Yeah. And that's being very good at the skill. So like the skill of being a designer. So if it's about UI design, are you someone who stays up to date with, what's happening in the industry and can you produce beautiful screens, right? That's like basic skill level of the craft. Are you good at the craft? That is important. If you are becoming someone at AJ&Smart who's then like a person who's like a crafts person. Yeah. Then what gets layered on top of that, which is even more important, is do you understand the full product picture? So do you understand product strategy? Do you understand product marketing? Do you understand do you understand growth and what that means? Do you understand what retention means, engagement means? Do you understand these things? And many designers who go to college and study all these outdated things that you're taught in college, they don't really pay attention to what happens in the real world, right? And in the real world, products are not made to be necessarily beautiful things. And of course, that's one objective. That's almost like a baseline objective that is beautiful and easy to use. Yeah. The bigger picture and more important picture today is that you really understand why it's being made and that you as the designer can really give our clients the insights into like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should do this because later on when this product is out, this other product might come along to do this, this, and this. Being able to think strategically about the products is super important for us. And I've put out a lot of videos and articles about, how to go from like just a craft designer, like a production designer, to really being able to see the whole picture of the product. I think over the next 10 years, if you're just focused on the craft, then you have to be the best. So you absolutely have to be the best to succeed, or else you'll just be a production person. Right. And if you want to have a good career and a good salary and get into companies like us or IDEO, but you're not the best in the world, because most people are not the best in the world, most people are not Johnny Ive, you need to have context. You need to be reading books like Hacking Growth. You need to be looking at an article called What is Product Strategy? Yeah. Like there are things you need to understand to really become a valuable product designer. Digital or physical, doesn't matter.
Good advice. All right. And that leads me into the next question. Do you believe universities are essential for designers? Or do you think there could be... Because this comes out of, I'm studying industrial design at the moment. Yeah. I have to admit, there are a few things I'm frustrated with university.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go to... If you want to become a designer, if your goal is to become a designer and to have the top salary and to be a top designer in a company, you do not need to go to college for sure. But the thing I think college is useful for is, you know, building confidence, growing up, and also having the last period in your life where you're not working and you don't have so many responsibilities. Because let's say you go straight from school to work,
Yeah.
I think you'll be a better designer if you're a self-teacher, if you're someone who's going to read a lot and do a lot of, like, you know, doing a lot of fake projects and like internships. A 6 month, like, honestly, a 3-month internship at AJ&Smart will teach somebody more about digital product design, product strategy, all of the design stuff than they will in the 4 years of college. That's just absolutely guaranteed, because they're going to be exposed to so many different clients and so many different scenarios, and they'll see the real world, the messiness of the real world. But I still personally would go to college. I don't know if you would have started your YouTube channel if you had gone straight to work.
This is true.
The thing I don't like is when people are asking me, or people are saying to me, oh yeah, I'm going to go back and do my master's. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you doing that? Like, you could do a 3-month internship, not spend that money, and you'd learn so much more. It's just an excuse at that point, right? Then it becomes an excuse. Some people do study as an excuse not to actually do real life.
People who are in university, what is like one thing you think they could be doing while at university that would prepare them better for when they reach industry?
The only thing that's going to prepare you is, well, you know what? In design school, they need to be teaching business. You need to understand business, or you're going to have to learn the hard way. The first time you sit down with a business owner, which you're going to have on every project, even if it's a digital product, physical product, doesn't matter. You're going to be the business owner, you're going to be the product owner. You won't understand their vocabulary the first time you meet them. They'll be talking about KPIs, they'll be talking about all these things, conversion rates, and you'll be like, I don't know that because I'm a designer. And I think that one of the biggest advantages that I gained early on was learning just what their language was and being able to use it against them to get my way. Like, so I would be like, let's say I would want this really cool animation to happen. I would be able to say, I think that this animation with somehow blah 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 blah, engagement, KPIs, OKRs, blah 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 blah, and then people are like, okay, cool, let's do it.
He knows his shit.
Yeah, he knows his shit. Do you have good lecturers in university?
The vast majority of them are good. Mostly.
They watch these videos, don't they?
You guys are nice.
You're so nice. No, all of my professors were nice. I did have many really useless professors who were just there because they couldn't get fired. It was a shame. They wasted my time, but it was fun. I mean, I was mostly just drunk in college. Did you want like a really deep conversation with me and I'm ruining it?
That's exactly what I wanted.
Okay,
great. Just going to do one final question, or more of a recommendation. Can you give us one book that you'd recommend and one podcast?
Yeah, I'm going to re-recommend Hacking Growth by Sean Ellis. I think this is a book that every product designer should read, because every single product you work on, there's going to be an element of this product which revolves around growth. Now, growth can be, how do we get many people to use this? Or when they're using it, how do we make sure they keep using it? This is the kind of growth. And like if you look at Facebook, they want to have a specific amount of people using the product per day. Understanding the concepts behind growth and also how to experiment and build experiments around growth for products. I think this is something that most designers don't know about, but it's a total game changer for your salary and for your job interviews. If you can talk about it in a job interview, if you're going into a job interview as a product designer and you're able to say, and like if they're talking about the product and you ask them what areas of the product are you trying to grow, they'll just be like, you know stuff? Why do you know stuff? And podcast, I obviously want to recommend my own podcast.
Yeah. All right, recommend.
But I'll recommend 2 podcasts. Okay. So my podcast is called The Product Breakfast Club. It's all about products, but it's also mostly just me and the author of Sprint just around and chatting. Do you beat those out on your?
Yeah, I'll beat those out.
good. So
it's like my first beeps I get to use.
Yeah, you're a very nice guy. You don't really swear. You're very clean. We'll change that.
Damn.
So one podcast I can recommend. A lot of people will already know this guy, and a lot of people will hate him. But Gary Vaynerchuk, he has a podcast, the Gary V Audio Experience, and I think that the sort of business knowledge and knowledge about running a business and kind of even though he doesn't talk about products, a lot of the principles of the product world are relevant there. That would be my recommendation. You know, I also get super pumped when I listen to it. Like I get like I saw even
he's
if
really intense, isn't he?
He's super intense. Like sometimes I'm listening and I'm like, oh, I'm not really in the mood today to do this project, but then I listen to Gary Vee and he's like, you suck. Like it's like really motivational, and if you're feeling like complaining about something, just listen to that podcast. And he's like, you suck, don't complain, you. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm good. It's all good.
And that concludes the interview with Jonathan.
Hey everybody.
You can follow AJ&Smart here, and you can follow my channel here. Subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Point it at Brittany as well.
Anything you want to say? Put the quote now, go.
Good luck and
Good night.
good night.
All right.